Many of you guys may know him. If you guys don't, you're about to learn. Dylan Brockman with Brockman Health. Dylan, how's it going, man?
Good. How's everything with you?
Man, everything is going great. And honestly, I wanted to bring you back on because, we recently talked and you were at a large industry meeting and you learned a lot of new things that we need to know on the dental, as business owners with our dental practices and whatnot. But before we go any further, we get a lot of new members in our group all the time. They may not know who you are. They've seen your posts. They're probably like, man, I like his posts. But who is this guy, right? Well, here's our opportunity to introduce you again to the Nifty group. So Dylan, what do you do and what is Brockman Health? How do you guys help us out?
Yeah, so appreciate the introduction. My name is Dylan Brockman, if you're new to the group, so welcome. And my specialty is actually nothing to do with the dental world. I actually specialize in helping self-employed individuals, business owners, and families find affordable health insurance for themselves, their employees, and their families. And typically just making a really complicated process extremely easy to understand. So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell. I'm sure we'll kind of unpack some of that throughout the rest of this phone call. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is in a nutshell.
Well, and let's just start with this. So again, a lot of times people don't know where to start, right? They're thinking, okay, well, I need to get some kind of health coverage for my family. Maybe I want to get it for my team as well. But you only know what you know. So for those who maybe they have a policy, maybe they don't have a policy, but where do you start? What's the best place to start? And again, because you only know what you know. So what's the best place to start? They don't know what kind of plan they have, or they don't even know if they need a plan or whatnot. What do you recommend to them as they go down this journey and try to learn what's out there?
Yeah, so I would say the best place to start now that we're on this phone call is actually by getting in touch with me, whether it be through DM or through my website or something. But what most people usually do, or what they think is the best place to start, is to just go on Google and type in health insurance quotes.
Yeah.
The challenge with that is that a lot of the things that you're going to see online are very generic and very one size fits all. Whatever healthcare needs I may need are probably different than yours, Dr. Vo, and are probably different than whoever's watching this video, right? So everybody needs a custom tailored health plan. And what you're going to find online is very generic because Google doesn't know what kind of medical conditions you're dealing with, what income level you have, so on and so forth. So typically, when you go and pick something up online, you're usually overpaying for a plan or you're undercovered because they're just what you see is what you get. Now, when you go on there, a few things that you might see might be the Obamacare marketplace or the ACA, which is a wonderful avenue to get coverage if you're someone that would be able to take advantage of that avenue, right? Those programs are guaranteed issued. They ultimately cover anything and everything, regardless of what kind of pre-existing you have. The only caveat is that those plans are priced based off of your income. So the more money you make, the more you pay. And if you have a high income job, you're in a high income opportunity, you're self-employed, you run your own business, sometimes that could be a little bit tricky and you might end up overpaying for insurance. Some of the other things that you might run into are either short-term or limited benefit plans that sound cool at face value, but there's a lot of fine print in there where maybe they're going to exclude all these things and maybe not give you the best prescription coverage or surgical benefits. And the price looks really cool, but on the back end, you kind of get what you pay for. So
when you talk about the short-term plans like that, are you talking about like the things that you get from like an Aflac or something, or is that something different? Because again, a lot of times people will see the commercial. It's a kind of a funny commercial, and they think, okay, well, I can get away with this because it's so much cheaper. But what are some of the issues that people run into when they go with like limited plans like that?
Yeah, so Aflac, I would not say is a limited plan per se. It's built mainly to become a supplement, right? So it's to become a supplement for an existing health plan and kind of fill in the gaps of whatever your existing plan does not cover. right?
Right.
So it might help you pay down a deductible or something of that sort. But if you are not fully educated on what's out there and you're kind of doing this on your own, you might think that an AFLAC policy is a full health coverage
Yeah.
option when in reality, it's just there to supplement what you already have. So if you're leaning on that as something to kind of cover all of your bases, it's kind of like Swiss cheese. There's going to be a lot of holes in it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so yeah, I mean, definitely it is good for what it's supposed to do. But if you're approaching an AFLAC or supplemental type product like that, thinking it's going to be a full coverage option, you might be surprised to find out that it's going to leave you exposed in different areas.
Well, we'll talk about like the best way to get in contact with you a little bit later on in the live stream here. But I will tell everyone this. Yes, we like to do it ourselves. We like to save a couple of bucks, right? You're in the Nifty Thrifty group, right? But the advantage of being in this group is that you get connected by professionals like Dylan, who this is what he does all day long, right? He helps small business owners get the coverage they need. Because honestly, there's a lot of things out there that could be really confusing. You end up might paying more, or you're not getting as the coverage you need. Health insurance, I mean, it's a wouldn't you agree? Health insurance is something that is it's a personal decision, right? It's very personal to the person. Everyone's got their different needs. Wouldn't you say that's the case?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I surprisingly, actually, like about a month ago, I was on the phone with a billionaire. He owns a hardware store, a chain of hardware stores in Wisconsin. He's actually one of the wealthiest people, and he actually self-insures. He says, "Hey, I don't need to pay for health insurance. I can pretty much just cover all of my bases with the assets that I have in place or the cash that I have, and I can just take care of it that way."
Wow.
But ultimately, I'm not a billionaire. I don't have that luxury. So if I were to ever encounter, God forbid, knock on wood, any of those hospitalization situations, a surgical situation that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Personally, I have insurance for those reasons. Maybe
Yeah.
not for a doctor visit here and there because I'm guilty of it. I'm a typical guy. I barely take myself to the doctor. But I do have the insurance in place for those what if scenarios. So that way I don't have to sell my house or cash in my life insurance policy or sell my business or something like that to pay for the medical bills. Right. It's a big reason in America for bankruptcy is medical debt.
Yeah, I mean, and again, something that most people aren't thinking about, right? Because look, let's be honest. Not everyone wakes up. They're like, I wonder where I'm going to get my health insurance today, or what I'm going to do. All that until you actually need it. That's
Yeah.
when you get in trouble. But let's talk. Obviously, you've helped a lot of people. So many people always reach out to you for advice and whatnot. But let's just pick a couple of case studies here with the Nifty member that worked with you and whatnot. Can you share some of those stories there? Because again, these same people who end up working with Dylan, I mean, they're just like you who are watching this right now. You're wondering like, oh, okay, should I even look into this? Should I even reach out to him? I mean, I'm a healthy person. I don't need anything, but a lot of times you only know what you know. So can you share a couple of the stories where you worked with a few Nifty members?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically it all starts in the group, right?
Yeah.
People end up seeing one of my Facebook posts, or maybe they're recommended to me through another member of the group,
Mhm.
and having a conversation with me is completely free, right? I pretty much just ask you what your current situation looks like, and if there's an ability for me to help and make your situation better, then I'll let you know. If I think that you're in the best situation possible, I'll still let you know as well,
Yeah.
right? Because at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that everybody has the right thing in place for their specific situation. So I'm actually glad that you had brought that up because forgive me for looking at my phone, not being disrespectful. I just have a case study on here that I wanted to share.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks ago, spoke to a member of Nifty Thrifty. They were a family of four. The guy owns a practice for himself. For his family of four, they were paying $2,500 per month for their health insurance. It was a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan with a $6,900 deductible per person.
Wow.
So if you're not familiar, they ultimately have to pay just about $7,000 out of their own pocket first before they got a penny from the insurance company. Now, they're extremely healthy people. You know, someone like myself, I'm assuming someone like you, Dr. Vo, probably isn't going to spend $7,000 in a single year. So ultimately, this family was paying $2,500 per month only to go to the doctor and still pay full price for those visits. So they had got in touch with me. Clearly, they thought they had a problem. I would agree in this situation. So after we looked at all of the different avenues, all of the options that they had available to them, basically, we were able to ultimately cut their cost in more than half. So we ended up finding them a plan at 1,176 per month. At the end of the day, I'll be honest with you guys, it's still expensive stuff. No one likes to pay for health insurance, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you're going to pay for it, at least make sure that you're getting the best deal out there. So
Getting something, right?
exactly, right? So it was 1176 per month with a United Healthcare PPO that had a zero deductible for all of their day-to-day benefits.
Oh, wow.
So
Well, I think that's a good deal compared to what they were paying.
yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, they just didn't know where to look when they had initially found their Blue Cross plan. And Blue Cross is a great company, right? I oftentimes recommend that to people. But in this situation, they just picked a poor plan
Yeah.
from Blue Cross Blue Shield because this was a plan that was attached to their income. You know, they made over $400,000 per year. So now they're getting charged $2,500 per month because they went and looked in the wrong place.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's such a good case study because again, they had health insurance, and again, a lot of you guys who are watching this right now, you probably have health insurance, right? You probably think I'm good, but you never know, right? It's not like one of those things where it's like you're buying like a phone or something, right? You kind of know what everyone's charging, you kind of know what all the deals are, but when it comes to health insurance, heck, when it comes to even dental insurance, I think a lot of us don't know what's going on, right? Much less health insurance. But again, that's why you got to work with someone who actually looks at this stuff and deals with this stuff all the time. And again, I wanna throw something out there because I think it's really important. So Dylan, you look extremely young, and so a lot of times probably people are looking and say like, this guy looks like my nephew. And again, Dylan, just you should love that whenever people tell how young you are, because the day that they stop saying that is going to be a sad day. Trust me, I know. So, anyways, but how long have you been doing this, man? How long have you been doing the, working in the health insurance and helping other small businesses? Because again, a lot of people don't realize Dylan's worked with other small businesses, and he realized that, well, dentists only know what they know, and there's a huge need in our industry, and that's why he's here to try to help us out. But Dylan, how long have you been in this with health insurance, and talk about your experience there?
Yeah, great question. And yes, I do have a baby face, and I hope I can keep it until I turn 50, 60 years old, maybe even longer. But for those of you who are curious, I'm 28 years old. I've been the owner of this agency for the past 5 years. And actually, prior to that, so 5 years ago, that puts me at 24 because I'm going to be 29 soon. So at 24 is when I opened this. But prior to that, I actually ran a top performing real estate team that operated between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. To be honest, I just didn't really like the hustle of real estate. It was just always like a constant grind, driving all over the place. And, you know, you show someone 20 houses and they just don't even want to buy it. Right. So I finally just got fed up with that process. And what was interesting is that I was getting kicked off of my parents' health insurance plan. I went to go and look for a health insurance plan for myself, and just nothing made sense. So I went down this rabbit hole, ended up figuring out all the different avenues that you can go for health insurance, and that there actually are great options out there. So I found a solution for myself. Funny enough, I figured, hey, I know a lot of attorneys, inspectors, other real estate agents, all within the real estate world that are all self-employed. Maybe I should just get my insurance license and see if I can maybe help some people out on the side. Little did I know that this was such a huge need that it just developed into a business by itself. So I eventually had to let go of some of my administrative staff on the real estate side, start doing things by referral. And then slowly but surely, I got too busy for referral business. And now I'm just solely doing the insurance stuff now for the past 5 years. So it's kind of funny how you kind of just land into
Yeah.
the opportunity that you're in.
Well, and you really got into it because it's something that affected you, right? And
Yeah.
again, you know other people going through the same thing. And then when you're a small business owner, obviously you're working with other people with small businesses. I mean, we got some real concerns, right? We're like, okay, well, we're not working for a big company where we can get like this sweet insurance, but we got to find it ourselves. For the doctors who are, thinking about, well, I might want to see if I can help my team out somehow. Is that something they can assist with? And again, is that also like what are some of the things that they need to look at if they want to provide benefits for their team?
Yeah. So ultimately, they would just need to look at their budget and just see if it makes financial sense. Number one, I would say that's number one. Number two, providing some sort of benefits to your employees, I would say is probably one of the biggest things that allows any small business to retain good quality
Oh
talent.
yeah.
Because good quality talent is attracted to good quality offers. And sometimes you could offer someone a great hourly wage or salary, but they also might value the benefits that they receive on the back end because of how expensive it might be to outsource those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if you could find it in your budget to provide that to your employees, then I definitely think it's something to consider. You could either pay a percentage of it where you're taking it out of their paycheck, kind of like through your payroll, or some smaller practices, a little bit more intimate. Maybe they have less than 10 employees. Sometimes the practice owner would offer a stipend or some sort of allowance every single month where they say, hey, everybody, we're going to give you an extra $300 a month or $400 per month. So that way you can go and spend that on an insurance plan that fits your needs. And then I could just help everybody on an individual basis. The bright
And I
side to
think that
that,
I think that's such a good idea too, Dylan, because a lot of times people are thinking, okay, well, I don't know what I can afford, but number one, if you can come up with, if you work with the right person who knows where to look, right? First of all, you might be, if you just did the Google technique, Dylan just talked earlier. For those who are just now jumping on, Dylan just talked earlier why doing it the do it yourself route, trying to find your own insurance, sometimes it's not the best route, right? You can do a lot of things yourself. This is probably not the best route. But if you're working with someone like Dylan and he has the connections and he has the experience, he can probably help your team get a good deal. And then if you throw in like the extra incentive, like, hey, I'll put in like $300 or $400 or whatever it is a month to pay for part of the policy, that goes a long way. And again, you could give them a little extra raise or you can give them affordable health insurance. And again, not everyone else can do that. That's another thing too. If you're worried about other offices poaching your team members, well, are they going to be offering health insurance? Probably not. Could they offer an extra dollar or two? Probably. So again, you got to think about what you can offer that makes it difficult for people to just want to look somewhere else. Obviously you want to take good care of them, but again, Dylan just laid out a scenario where you can do that. And again, Dylan, if people are just trying to figure out a way to make it work, you've done these deals. You work with other people, right? They can reach out to you. They can just talk it through, like you just said earlier.
yeah, yeah. And I have these conversations almost daily. And I mean, the unique thing about saying that you're going to provide two, three, $400 per month per employee, it allows you to fix your cost, right? So if you say, hey, I have $2,000 in my budget and I have 10 employees, well, maybe I don't want to pay for half of everybody's insurance, but I'm willing to pay for $200 each person.
Yeah.
It allows you to fix your cost with what works in your budget.
Yeah.
So I find that oftentimes a lot of practitioners are kind of leaning in that direction. If they have a smaller, more intimate type of practice, once you start getting, multiple locations, your practice starts to grow, you have 30, 40, 50 employees, then it's probably time to consider group insurance benefits. But, if you're intimate, we kind of grow with you until you get to that point.
Well, speaking of reaching out to you and working with you and whatnot, I'm actually going to share my screen here because I want to show everyone this cool website, right?
Hey, I
Again,
know that guy.
Yeah, and again, when you look at him, you're probably thinking, "Man, this guy looks like my nephew." What does he know? The guy, look, Dylan's been in this business for. Don't let the young looks fool you. He's been in this business, has helped so many members, so many people, so many small business owners. And as easy as it is, Dylan just said, "Look, just reach out." I mean, there's like this easy button right here. Click this button, right? Let's see what happens when we click this button. Look, you can put in all this information there. Is that the easiest way to kind of get connected, or should we do this schedule appointment? Here's another easy button here.
Yep. So either one of those work. If you want to fill out the get a quote form, you're more than welcome to. Some people are apprehensive about putting their information on forms and stuff like that. I'll tell you right now, I'm the only person that gets that information. So I'll just reach out to you with a quick text and say, "Hey, got your inquiry. When do you have some free time to chat?" If
Well,
you're apprehensive about filling out a form, you can click the schedule appointment tab at the very top. It'll just bring you to my booking link where you can just pick a time within my calendar to chat for about 15 or 30 minutes about what your options look like.
yeah, and again, you only know what you know, but I mean, literally, if you need some instructions, I mean, literally, it's like right here, right? It's like right here, and again, who does he help? I mean, look at all the people he helps. Basically, this he helps us right here. This is right here. This top part here, right here, right? Business owners too, everything. Maybe some of you guys do drive some kind of a truck, but we're not talking about that type of truck here. But again, I mean, look, if you're wondering who Dylan helps, how can he work with us? These are all the type of people, basically us, that work with him. And again, hey, don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it, okay? Look at these people right here, but also there's multiple Nifty members. If you do a search for Dylan, his posts, he posts a lot of like 5-star reviews, right? Again, um, Dylan, wouldn't you say that in your line of work, if you have a bunch of bad reviews, you're probably not going to do that well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I
I
mean,
mean,
it goes for anybody. I mean, even you guys.
yeah.
If I'm schooling around looking for a good dentist to take care of these pearly whites, if you have a 1-star review, I'm sorry, I'm probably not gonna call your phone number.
Yeah,
But if you
no,
got some 5-star reviews, I'm definitely gonna reach out. You could also look me up on Google. I have, I think, maybe 60 5-star reviews at this point. I forget what it's at, but maybe 59, 60, somewhere around there.
so again, I mean, here we have his website right there. All you got to do is just you type it in. I'll put it in the comments section as well. Dylan's in the group. So look, if you really want to be super lazy and say like you just want Dylan to come to you, all you got to do is ask a health insurance question in the group. I promise if I see it, I will tag him in there. And again, whether you think you need insurance or not, doesn't hurt to reach out to him. Reach out, just have a conversation. If the man can help you, he'll help you. If he can't, if you got just a kick butt policy, well, good for you. Now you know, right? Now you know. So, Dylan, before we log off here, what what are some of the things that you want to share with the Nifty Thrifty group? Any kind of like advice or comments before we jump off here?
Um, Not really. I would just say, speak to a professional, whether it's me or you have someone that's close to you, a family or a friend that knows the space. Just speak to a professional that knows the ins and outs of insurance prior to doing it the whole DIY kind of deal. Actually, Glenn, you and I we had spoken the other day about a national webinar that I was a part of.
Yeah, tell us about that. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so I was part of a national webinar. There's some changes happening in the insurance world. Nothing too drastic, but when you go on Google, you find those one size fits all types of plans. Some of those plans will be either short-term plans, meaning that you can only keep it for a certain period of time. As of recent, the longest period of time that you can hold on to those plans is 36 months. So you can hold on to it for about 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Changes have now come where a short-term plan should only be for the short term, meaning the next 3 to 6 months to bridge the gap in between jobs. And the challenge that you're going to find with those types of programs, they're all over the internet and they serve their purpose. But if you're looking for long-term permanent coverage, it may not be the best option because here's what happens. Every 3 to 6 months, you get kicked off. You can reapply, but then they're going to use your medical history against you, and they have the ability to deny you if you've developed some sort of condition during the first term. Not to mention whatever deductible you had on there within the first 3 to 6 months. Let's say you've paid it down. Well, if you reapply, it's going to start over. So sometimes you can maybe get a permanent full coverage option for just a little bit more. So that way you can avoid the hassle. And sometimes people get a short-term plan without even realizing that they are on a short-term plan, which is kind of,
Man, I mean, that's kind of scary. And I will say this: if you're not sure if you have a short-term plan, do reach out to Dylan. Again, I literally showed you guys where to go on his website to schedule an appointment. Right? Doesn't cost Dylan. Does it cost anything for them to talk to you?
zero.
There, and also, I mean, again, if you know, if their schedule's really tight, again, you have days that you can squeeze in, you can talk to them, and again, what's the best way? Is it schedule appointment, talk on the phone? How does a meeting occur? Is it a Zoom meeting? Is it a phone call? Is it emails, or is it all the above?
Pretty much all of the above. I would say at some point it would be in the best interest for us to chat for maybe 10-15 minutes, just so that way I could ask you all of the fine detailed questions, all the nuance things about what your medical history looks like, what your needs are. So that way I can just really just filter everything down to the plan that's going to be perfect to you. And I could either shoot everything over to an email. What a lot of my clients choose to do is just jump on a screen share with me. So I'm not going to see your face. You're not going to see mine. I just share my screen with you. So that way you get to see everything as if you're the insurance agent. You get to see all the fine print, deductibles, copays. We can build the plans however you like. So that way you get the best balance between price and coverage. So that's usually what people like to do. And if we do that, it's probably a 20-minute phone call.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, look, guys, it's a no-brainer. I mean, look, everyone's busy. You know, you may think you're too busy to spend like 30 minutes to see what kind of policy you have or see what's out there. But literally, this could save you thousands of dollars, because that doctor, what we talked about earlier with that case study, it's saving them a lot of money. And they just had a hunch that they had the wrong policy, right? If you even have like any kind of doubt about your policy, but definitely if you don't know, definitely reach out to Dylan. If you're a shy type of person, the man just said, look, we can do it which way you want. But the thing is, because it's a personal experience, you really need to have that phone conversation. You can't just go and just do it yourself, because Dylan just said, you do it yourself, you end up paying more, right? You think you're saving a lot of money, you end up paying more, which I hate when that happens. I don't know about you, Dylan. I hate it when I try to do something myself and it's spending more. So again, go to the website. Dylan, again, thank you so much for jumping on. Guys, we have this resource here. Use him, okay? He's our expert when it comes to health insurance and whatnot. Now, what if someone has some real estate questions thrown in there? Would you be willing to throw in a little extra advice too? They're coming there and they're like, okay, talk about health insurance. Oh, by the way, I'm thinking about doing this with this particular property. Would you feel a couple of you still have some of the real estate skills, right?
Yeah. Real estate's my passion. So we can help you out with the insurance, and then we could chat for hours about real estate and how wonderful it is out here in South Florida.
Oh, there you go, man. I definitely need to talk to you about getting some condos. But Dylan, thank you so much for jumping on. Guys, reach out to him. We'll put his website in the comments section. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys. Take care.